Meggy, Meggy, Meggy. Man, these past few years have definitely been unkind to you, haven't they? I've rarely talked about SMG4 characters on the channel. Granted, yeah, I have talked about Tari, Meggy, and Desti twice, so there you go. But today, I'm going to give Meggy some justice. A little defense video, as you will. In today's video, I'm going to try and answer one simple question. Why is Meggy so hated? Why has she been a controversial character since 2019? So, strap yourselves in, as we are in for quite the ride. Let's start with the history. Meggy made her grand debut in the SMG4 series in the Season 7 episode, If Mario Was in Splatoon. In this episode, the castle walls are being repainted, and Mario goes to get some orange paint. However, he stumbles across an inkling in its squid form in the paint can he was looking in, only to then be sucked into Inkopolis. The squid then reveals itself as an inkling named Meggy, who then, after wrecking Mario, heads off to do her training. But upon discovering her whilst doing so, Mario volunteers and tries every ounce to convince Meggy to be a part of her team. But only after causing Heavy Squid to be injured, Mario becomes a part of the team. When the big Splatfest day comes, the team ultimately lose to the Ink Brigade. But Mario reassures Meggy that losing is a part of the game, and that maybe next time, you will come out on top. Since that episode, Meggy continued to make her occasional appearances across the rest of the season, being a part of several things. Being a part of Mario's huge, but admittedly quite silly obstacle course, only to just get to the top of a giant building. Being a part of What Fi 2017, in which she would become a mainstay of that series. And discovering what Christmas truly is. The Christmas Discovery is probably my favourite of her appearances in Season 7. A truly wholesome episode. It was only until Season 8 when Meggy truly became one of the main characters, being involved in more stuff than she was in the last season, appearing in almost double the amount of her appearances from last season, being a part of Mario's Mafia crew in one of the show's infamous episodes, being dragged into Bob and Bootkinson's anime watching whilst waiting for pizza, being a part of Mario Preschool, being one of the victims of Waluigi's T-Pose virus, and of course, meeting Desti for the first time and becoming her main rival. Man, Meggy did a lot of things this season. Season 9 saw even more of Meggy. In fact, this might be the most exposure she's ever gotten in a season period. Season 9 was a big season, and the team went full on guns a-blazing this season, creating the biggest arc of the series, at the time at least, and doing things to really push the envelope of the previous seasons. In fact, this is probably my favourite Meggy season, and most of her episodes this season were bangers. Emphasis on most. Being a part of a character challenge, giving Valentine's advice to Shroomy, having a 2-episode arc where she trains her new Splat Squad teammates and trying to get her weapons back from Destiny, and of course, the big one, shape-shifting from an Inkling to a human, which would become her appearance in the show moving forward. But even with that said, they still did something with it, like going into the Minecraft world with Mario and Luigi. Oh god, please don't remind me of that god-awful Minecraft trailer, please! Or dealing with a penguin crisis. Season 9 is probably my favorite SMG4 season, and it treated Meggy very well, I think. She's only had one stinker though, and it was pretty bad. But other than that, still a very strong season for her. But now we come to the 2020s, and yeah, this was when Meggy started to become a loathe, I think. Not at first though, she still had a strong season with season 10. She had a very legendary movie where she fulfills her dream to win the final Splatfest in Destiny's honor, and she moves into what would become her home moving forward. She even got a job to herself to become a cop, and was even cosplayed as Sophia Porter from Meta Runner. That's pretty cool. And this was the season where she gained a human voice by, at first, Lizzie Freeman. I already talked about Lizzie in my ranking video for all the Meggy voices, so you can check out my thoughts on her there. But the sad thing is, season 10 is probably Meggy's best season in the 2020s. From here on out, it's all downhill. Season 11, while still a strong season, didn't really use Meggy that well as she was handled in season 10. But I can kind of understand that, considering that her full arc had been completed in the movie. So, what do you do with her now? Well, they gave us a pretty banger series in the form of Sunset Paradise, which, in my opinion, feels almost like something out of season 7. I already talked about the show in the past though, so you can check out that if you wish. While she still had a strong appearance this season, this unfortunately would be the final season that she would be consistent. Which leads me on to the question of the video. Why is Meggy so hated? Overrepresentation! The absolute biggest problem that I see with Meggy that I can relate to is that in the following seasons, she appears way too much, getting to a point where she would become pretty out of character in certain episodes. And I kid you not, out of all 48 episodes in season 12, she appears in 35 of those episodes, 7 of which she is in part of an arc with. Like, come on! I thought that people overreacting about Mario Kart Wii's overrepresentation in the booster course pass was bad enough. But this is one step further than that. In Season 12's Do Not Enter, Meggy gains a new VA for the first time following Lizzie Freeman's departure, LC Lovelock. And while I definitely prefer LC over Lizzie, the episode she debuted in as Meggy was pretty bad, and did not do a good first impression of the VA. Season 12 in general was where Meggy started to get more duds than she had previously. Like, in Season 9, she only had like one bad episode. And then in like Season 10, she only had like 2. And that was it. Season 11 though, really started to show the duds she was going to have. In that season, she probably had like 3. I don't know at this point. Season 12 though, had like, what? 6. 6! Do Not Enter, Mario Gets Lit, Clown Fever, Mario Ballin', Mario Goes Bowling, and All I Want for Christmas is Mario to freaking behave. That last one is probably the worst of her appearances in this season. What a horrible way to end off the season. But that's not the worst of it. Season 13 is probably the worst Meggy season in my opinion, where it is absolutely clear that the writers don't understand how to write for Meggy. You all know how many stinkers she's had this season? 9. 9 really bad episode appearances. Mario goes on a diet, if Mario went fishing, a happy little road trip, Mario harms the environment, Mario's Tunnel of Doom, Mario is Fine, Grand Theft Mario, the new castle, and we don't talk about what happened in the elevator. At this point, I am getting so sick of the fact that the writers clearly don't have a clue of what to do with Meggy, other than writing her as a bitch. Like, if you clearly don't want to write Meggy in an episode, then just don't use the character that season if you don't know what to do with her. This is literally Edward in the Hit era all over again, where the writers don't have a clue as to what to do with the character. I feel like I'm pretty much repeating myself from Tug Sono's Finest on Edward because these two pretty much have the same exact problem as each other. Either sticking to an abysmal character bio in Edward's case, or write the character as unlikable to meet a quota in Meggy's case. A Happy Little Road Trip was abysmal, and I've already talked about the episode in my character highlight reel episode on Meggy. But to put it brief, I despise how Meggy was handled. Her and Mario were written as arguing siblings, instead of strong best friends who confide in each other when the going gets tough that the previous season showed us. However, despite all the behind the scenes troubles that wrecked Meggy's character, I'll give her this. At least there was some diamonds in the rough for her. One of those being the friendship between her and Tari. This was something that was only shown in small bursts in the previous seasons, but in season 13, this was where the friendship truly blossomed. But the best example of this dynamic can be found in the movie Western Spaghetti. I will go into full detail about this in the future in my review of the movie, but to keep it brief, I adore the dynamic these two have in this. It's almost like a teacher looking out for her confident student, and I really like that. I really wish this was pushed more, but alas, it is what it is. And to give her some credit, at least with season 14, they're at least improving with her, giving her less screen time and less spotlight roles, and only appearing as a supporting role. This is how you handle Meggy, and I really hope this is how they treat her in the future. But I wouldn't be f***ing surprised if they didn't, to be honest. But before I conclude this video, I have one final surprise for you all. And this is something that I actually regret not putting in my character highlight reel episode on Meggy. For those of you who don't know, or maybe know, my good friend on YouTube and Discord, Rebecca, aka SMG3 Fanatic, or GART for short, absolutely loathes Meggy. And definitely for understandable reasons as I talked about earlier. So, I am now going to pass over the mic to GART. And she is going to share why she absolutely despises this controversial character.
I've been waiting to rip her apart for quite some time, and now I can do this. Get ready, because you are not prepared for what I have to say. But before I get to why I hate Meggy, I want to give you a brief rundown. At first, I didn't really hate Meggy. I really like her as a character. Is it bad that my first interaction was in her human form and not Inkling? I know. I'm sorry. But I'm getting off topic. My hatred started to go up a little bit in 2021, although it was probably a one-time thing because, hey, it was not the best time for 2021, and I get that. However, my hatred towards Meggy did not rise up in 2022. No. It was the lawsuit arc where I really started to hate her. Like, okay, I get it, she's trying to defend her friends, but you just don't go out pissing Nintendo off. Like, come on. The main reason why I despise Meggy so much nowadays is the terrible writing. Yes, I get it, a lot of characters didn't have the best writing, but oh my god, she was done completely dirty 2 years ago. Oh man. And it would only get increasingly worse. Do I think 2019 was the start of her downfall? No, I think 2022 was the start of her declining with a little bit of 2021, where she becomes an absolute jerk. What Shadow Meggy said? Actually, I'm gonna let her say it.
Yet how many people around you have to die because you just weren't good enough? People give everything for you, and what do you ever do in return? Nag and complain and boss them around!
Yeah, she learns completely nothing and gets off scot-free. What's even worse than Western Spaghetti, she almost kills her friends, including Tar, because her stupid-ass obsession with one-shot Ren! Just kill her the f*** off already! I'm calm. I've calmed down, Manist. I'm not gonna speak more about it. Peace out.
I think it's fair to say that Meggy has had a very turbulent time across the series. From shapeshifting from an Inkling to a human, and later getting a second human design, to gaining 2 English VAs, to winning the final Splatfest in Destiny's honor, to becoming a sports coach, to having a teacher-student dynamic with Tari, to going on a crazy vacation, to even cosplaying as Daphne Blake in one of the Puzzle Vision episodes. But it's a real shame that for 2 seasons, Meggy suffered the same issue Edward had in the Hit era, where the writers clearly don't have a clue as to how to write for this character. But man, those early seasons before season 11 were truly something to behold, with her starring in the best movie in the series. Meggy is my favorite character in the SMG4 series, and I hope that this video will truly fascinate you on her evolution over the years. Well, that was certainly a lot to get through, but I think it was all worth it in the end. Once again, a big thanks to SMG3 Fanatic for helping me out with sharing her opinions on Meggy in this video. I can relate to her hating this character a lot, given to what I said about how she's been written recently. Bit of an announcement for you guys, I have a brand new intro. You've not seen it yet, but you will see it in the end screen for this video. And in terms of upcoming videos, I will be revisiting all 14 Thomas the Tank Engine movies. Why is that, you may ask? Well, stay tuned for the upcoming video to find out why. This was one hell of a video, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what your guys' personal preference is on Meggy. Do you love her? Do you hate her? Or is she somewhere in between? Let me know. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to not miss out on the newest content. Until next time, bye guys.